Hello and welcome back to 90's Mags, your podcast for all things Newcastle United, hosted by two lifelong Newcastle United supporting buddies. Myself, Jefferson, and my co-host, myself, D-Man, and my co-host, Jefferson. How you doing, sir?
That'll be something, isn't it? A bit of a
Hey,
vice versa.
how you doing, bro? Good?
Yeah, I'm all right, bro. It's I guess instant reaction straight after this game is just like at 1 minute you're thinking, wow, we've got pretty much a foot into the last 16, let alone the playoffs. But yeah, it's one of them ones. But hey, you pick yourself up, innit? How
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I don't know whether to feel satisfied or deflated, bro, given that the way the game went, but it is what it is. But before we get into it, don't forget, people, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, help the channel grow. Leave a comment after the podcast. That's much appreciated. So thank you for those who did for the last one. Yeah, we keep building. We're not too far away from 500 subs. That's our next target. So help us get there as soon as possible. Ideally before the end of the year, but you never know. You never know. But yeah, so like we're here to review the latest installment. The game's just finished. Champions League away to Leverkusen. Big up William in the building. Hope you're good, sir. Hope you're good.
We got William.
Yeah, so it finished Leverkusen 2, Newcastle United 2. Very, very interesting game. Pretty good game, I think. Entertaining game for the neutral. Big up Kim Cam in the building. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. But
Yes.
yeah, it was an interesting game. So overall summary of the game, Jefferson. Oh, it's got early doors and that. But what do you reckon?
Well, yeah, until conceding that goal. Not that it was a tactical masterclass by any means, but very much encouraged by a better second half performance. That told, I think we waited out the pressure as much as we could. The first half, very frustrating generally. It's enough to make you want to switch off the TV because it was very Jekyll and Hyde in terms of just showing that basically we very much struggle in possession to actually play football and pass the ball around. And again, we need to look at this in January in terms of the profile player we sign, in terms of those that can actually pass and move, pass the ball. But for some reason, something ignited in the second half. And yeah, it was a better display in the second half. And now, in the way it worked out with the draw, you can kind of feel a little bit hard done by. But some interesting calls in the game, which I'm sure we'll cover in a bit.
Yeah, big up Adnan in the building. He said I thought the game was boring, too slow, too furious. To
Where's
me,
the slug emoji, man?
yeah, it was a game of two halves, didn't it? Because, like you said, that first half we weren't very good at all. It wasn't our worst performance of the season, but it wasn't great. It wasn't great. You know, Leverkusen were by far the better team. They looked the more threatening. We were way too open, and then we had the ball. We were too slow on the build up. But the second half, I thought we were the better team. We hit the woodwork twice. You know, and Malik Chow went close with a great save from the keeper, one over. So we had enough chances to put them away. I did think, you know, once we got the two goals, when we went 2-1 up, I thought again we're sitting back too much. And why is it that my frustration? If we're going to sit back, yeah, why can't we execute the low block effectively? Yeah, other teams can do it against us, but we can't seem to do it, right? But also we inviting pressure, and we concede late again, which is the frustrating thing. We'll get into it as well, but I thought, how could have made subs earlier, especially after we've gone 2-1 up. I thought we could make a couple subs earlier. Why bringing on Vissa for a minute and a half and Murphy, Ramsey? So it made no sense to me. But you know, it's his team. But yeah, there were some encouraging performances. Namely Lewis Miley when he came on. I thought he had a chance to be mad in the match, to be fair. And you got some disappointing performances, which we'll get to as well. So yeah. Like I said, you know, at 2-1, you thought, could we hold on to, you know, we're shooting for the top 8. Now we're going to probably have to settle for a top 16 place if we get the second leg at home in the playoff. So, but, you know, it's 2 more games to go. You never know. But I only checked where we are in the rankings at the moment. But let's talk about, well, some of these comments anyway. So big up, Teresa, he said, Eddie's voodoo defensive tactics cost us 2 points.
12th, by the way.
Okay. Connor said Miley man of the match. He was a forced substitute. Big up Mackenzie family said, evening lads, we're not winning against Sunderland. Another 2 points lost. Same old different game. Takes Gordon and Voldemort off at 92 minutes. Yeah, which was ridiculous.
Mm.
From 6th to 12th real quick. Very true. Although we were 15th going into the game today, so we've gone up 3 places. So you can look at it in that way. Big up DB 1983 said, "Why do we always sit back and offer no counter attack when we take the lead? This is the
Mm.
frustrating thing. Frustrating thing." Ramsey and Visser careers are done. How is just a clown. Interesting, but yeah. So
I think Joe Linton's done based
no,
off today.
he's finished. He's finished.
He should not be starting a game like as
Nah.
in a big
And he
series.
had the cheek to complain when he got subbed. Nah, bruv.
Yeah.
Nah, you're done. You're done out here. But anyway, let's talk about the lineup itself. You mentioned Joe Linton, but obviously back four, Dan Burn back in centre back, Lewis Hall left back, you know, the tried and trusted midfield, Joe Linton, Bruno and Tonali. And then he's gone with Barnes and Gordon to partner Voltamada. So what do you think of the lineup itself?
I mean, the thing is, again, this is all what's been adding up from the past that we know that Burn will always play.
Sorry, big up AC in the building as well. Big up AC.
Oh,
Yeah.
AC's in the chat.
Big
Oh,
up, big
man,
up,
like
big up.
AC.
Yeah, man.
Bruv, what's happening?
Big
You
up.
need to flip over, come this side, you know.
The seat's always warm, my friend. The seat's always warm. But
I'm
anyway,
telling you, come
that's
through.
it. Carry on.
Yeah, you know, so look, we know that Burn is gonna play. We know that Joe Linton is gonna play, right? I'm sure if Pope was fit, he'd play. The thing that we knew was that basically the Burnley performance on Gordon was the dress rehearsal. So we knew that he would come in. You know, it's kind of preordained that he would come in. Now, shifting Barnes to the right, which some of us in our little group predicted would happen, it's an experiment that he tried time and time again last season and it didn't work. So what makes you think it's going to be any different? Whoever's on the left will thrive. Whoever's on the right kind of tends to drift away in the game. So listen, Barnes was never going to cover himself in glory today because he's out of position. So, you know, a frustrating one when you're away from home and we're soaking up pressure. You actually think this is a game maybe for Elanga just to stretch the game, and then it means that Voltamada can potentially come a bit deeper if ball comes across. We saw that work against Everton. So, yeah, other than that, though, very kind of predictable, this lineup.
Yeah, I thought the lineup was very, very predictable. Like you said, the whole Gordon and Barnes thing, shoehorning Gordon into the team. Like I said, you have to pick between one of them to play on the left. Yeah, if you're going to put them two in the same team, that can only work against the likes of Benfica, even maybe PSV at home. Yeah, when you're playing at home, maybe with the crowd behind you, whatever, it might work. But tactically, if you're gonna go into a game tactically, you cannot put those two on the same team, one and shoehorn one on the right hand side. It makes no sense when you've got Elanga and you've got Murphy, who are naturally on the right hand side. So it makes no sense to me. So that to me was strange. But the midfield, listen, I think Joe Linton's done in it, but it didn't surprise me that he went with that same old midfield. He brought back Tonali after a couple of games on the bench because he recovered from injury. And we knew Dan Burn was going to play, but it's now seeming like Joe Linton's now one of his favourites as well. Like Joe Linton's been out of form all season, yeah, but you still continue to pick him in these games, which makes no sense to me. But yeah, big up Lominus in the building said, "How can Eddie can't see what us fans can see? Is he that bad? Holy shit, man! I've been desensitized over scoring because I know we're going to sit and concede, and how concede and see players were tired. Exactly,
You know it's
exactly."
coming, isn't it? You know it's coming.
Exactly. But so to the game itself now, right? Now, I thought we started okay. But then the set piece comes on the 13th minute. Yeah. Now, we have a problem defending set piece with, I don't know about you, but every time they had a corner, my heart was in my mouth. Yeah. And a couple times we were lucky to clear that ball. Yeah. But this one, talk me through this one because there was I say a catalogue of errors because before the corner was given, I think Burn should have cut out the cross. I think someone else should have cut out the cross. I forgot what it was. Obviously, it's gone for a corner, whatever. And Tonali seems to have, he's lost his man. Yeah. And it's hit the back of Bruno. You can't blame Bruno for it, really. I see a couple of people blaming Ramsdale as well. So what were your thoughts on the goal?
I just think the minimum you have to do is jump for the ball. He doesn't even jump for the ball. And this isn't the first time. I mean, listen, on the ball and to an extent off the ball, Tonali is almost flawless. He's saved us many times. He's been arguably the only beacon of light. But defensively, a few times he has not covered himself in glory. You know, this isn't the first time. You've got to at least try and compete for the ball. You know,
Mm.
so I don't know if it's a situation where he's checked out and his heart isn't fully in it. In situations like that, but for me, when I'm looking at it and when I saw it, he's the one I'm looking at in that instance. And I personally as well think he contributes towards the second goal as well, which we'll come to.
Yeah, I agree. I think this one, you can't shy away from the fact that it was Tonali's fault. He was. It's similar to do what what's his name was doing against who was it that Bentancur was doing for us against Spurs when he wasn't really looking at the ball, he was just in the man, whatever, not really trying to play the ball. Tonali was the same, but the worst he did even worse because he looked around for the ball and he completely lost his man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
he's head on with it as well.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think maybe Ramsdale could have maybe tried to claim the ball earlier, but
Potentially,
caught in no man's land a little bit. But it is what it is. So we go 1-0 down and thought, here we go again. And to be honest, we didn't really look like we were going to get back into this game in that first half. Like I can't remember too many clear-cut chances that we created.
it was
And
poor,
it
D-man.
was poor. And a time and time again, as good as we praised our midfield last season, yeah. How many times do players cut through our midfield with one single pass?
Like butter,
It's
like a knife
ridiculous,
through butter.
absolutely ridiculous. And we get life again because they cut through us, and then Malik Chow brings down the player on the edge of the ball. At first I thought it was penalty. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was marginal.
starts just
Luckily,
outside, isn't it? Just.
just outside. But the warning signs were there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
They were sitting back there, and the intricate passing they were doing to hit us on a break. We just seem to same old, put it to the wing, and then Gordon's holding on to the ball too long, whatever. No option. Barnes is too slow to do anything anyway. Like we were just so slow. Going through the motions and getting caught. Like we couldn't really get hold of the game. And I thought that we were lucky to go in 1-0 down, given the pressure that we was under. But what do you think was that? Was it tactically wrong that we was in this first half, or was it
It's
just the
just,
players?
again, the chickens come home to roost, and I'm sure, those in the chat would agree as well, is that big up Big Yinks, just seen him in the chat there as well. I'm going to take, he's going to do me for copyright soon, but, that lack of football intelligence that some of the players have is very predictable what's happening. So a lot of the pattern shifts are on the right-hand side. We know this, we talked about this before. If they don't have success down the right, it shifts down the left. It goes from the left to the right, from the right to the left. And there's even a few times you've arguably got a half chance. Take that risk, try and play the ball through. You're playing it backwards. Why?
Yeah,
Because you're
yeah,
just playing into their defense's hands because they then reset. You start again. So where's the imagination? Where's the risk? Do you see what I'm saying? So it's boring watching that because we're like a dog, isn't it? Just going like that. That's all that's happening, and this is what we're getting with the coaching. We supposedly got one of the best coaches out there, apparently, but that's what the boys are producing. But it's not until obviously later on in the game where we see Miley come on, where there's a little bit of incision and
yeah,
tempo and movement. People feel a little bit more fluid. So I feel like we almost stumble into these things. But yeah, tactically, there was a lack of imagination. Get it to the wing, try and cross it in, and then what?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then what?
And also, why is it we struggled to keep hold of the ball? I like our first touch was off. You know what I mean? We were losing, getting dispossessed easily, not being able to try get it back. Like I don't understand. Everyone was pretty much poor in that first half. I think bar maybe Lewis Hall. Yeah, I thought everyone else was really poor in that first half, and nothing was coming off. And to me, at the time, I thought Gordon should have been hauled off at half time. Yeah, and one or two others. Joe Lynch should have been hauled off at half time. I wanted to see some changes in the second half coming
Mm,
out. And when I saw there was no change, I was fuming. But yeah, we go in 1-0 down. Obviously, the second half starts. Now my worry was, first 10 minutes we're going to fall to sleep. But credit to the boys. They came out. They looked lively. They were pressing, and then we get the penalty decision. Yeah, Flecken's dilly dally on the ball. Good pressing for Voltemada.
mm.
Puts him under pressure, and he basically takes him out, but gives him up. Voltemada goes down a bit easily, but there is contact. Yeah, straight penalty for you.
You have to give it, don't you? Because there's
Yeah,
contact. You have to give it.
yeah, yeah. And no surprise, Anthony Gordon is going to be the penalty taker. He steps up, decent penalty, slots it away. He hasn't missed yet since he's this season. So no surprise that he scored. So I thought, okay, well done, well done. We seem to be a bit more on it. Now this was after the substitution of Miley, wasn't it? Or was it before?
What, the goal?
Yeah.
I think it came before.
Okay. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, it must have because I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Joe
it
Linton
came
went. Yeah,
before. It came
yeah,
before,
yeah.
yeah.
And obviously the substitution comes. Joe Linton goes down. Now I thought that was a tactical one where he goes down so we can regroup and whatnot. He probably thought the same because he didn't want to come off when he got up. He didn't want to come. He was a bit annoyed. But
He looked
Miley
pissed.
Miley came on, and in the 25 minutes that he was on the pitch, he did more than any of our midfielders. Yeah, he brought a bit more control to the game, and not only that, when he had the ball, he was moving it with purpose, which was good to see.
Yeah,
Right, and then the game goes on, and then Gordon came to life. He was causing the right back all sorts of problems. Hits the post with unlucky with the shot when he hit the post. Very good work down the left hand side. And then you've got the second goal. Gordon down the left hand side again, beats his man, crosses it over, and there's Lewis Miley with his header. It's a bit awful that we've got taken out off his feet, but good header.
what a header.
Scores of 2-1. So what are your thoughts about that goal itself?
I mean, he busts the gut to get in there, and it's
Yeah.
a heck of a header. It's brave as well. And we've talked about Lewis Miley, in my opinion, being more of an attacking midfielder, but he's so gifted that he can be more of a tempo player, sort of Tony Kroos style player. Give it to me, I'll give it back. And you see him even towards the end, he was sort of busting a gut down that right wing for a period, giving Tino a little bit of a breather as well. He needs to be managed well because he's a very talented player. I'd hate to see him leave the club on the basis of, not getting minutes with Joe Linton starting in front of him. I think he's very much knocking on the door and arguably, in my opinion, or both of our opinions, should be starting the game. And I think he'd be a massive plus in the side, being a local lad in the Derby game we've got coming up. But you could just see a real momentum shift once he came on. And other players were a little bit more fluid and liberated in the midfield.
Just before we go to read some of these comments, big up Brent in the building. He said Tonali's off to Madrid. Big up Steve Stratford. He said Ramsdale is garbage. Wayne,
You can imagine him saying that as well.
yeah.
Ramsdale's garbage, yo.
Big up Wayne. He said Tonali and Joe Linton were crap tonight. Agreed.
Yeah.
Big up Tony. He said, I get criticising playing Joe Linton, but what other option do we have instead of Byrne? Fabian Shea would be an option for me. But, but to me, with Byrne as well, like, Byrne is...
3 at the back.
Yeah, but you can't...
Shift the formation, man.
But
Leverkusen did it. They played 3-4-3.
You can't play Byrne every single game, bruv. He's old. Yeah, he needs a rest. You're rotating everybody else. Why not rotate Byrne? You know what I mean? Give him a rest, but you're not going to rest him for the weekend, which we'll get to anyway. Big up Jason in the building. Said both Ramsdale and Pope came from relegated sides. Telling, really interesting.
Yeah. Where's the ambition?
Well,
Where is the ambition, man?
Tonali pitiful tonight. At times, I expect much more.
Agreed.
Yeah, this was one of his worst games for us, to be fair. Wayne again said terrible pass from him as well as shocking throughout the whole game.
You know what? 1 second, Steve. I don't know if you remember. One that sticks out for me. I think there's something there about Tonali and being brave. I still remember that Kudus equaliser away at West Ham.
Oh, yeah.
In the last minute. And Tonali he doesn't get there, but he's also not brave to go in for the 50-50. He'd rather pull out and Kudus gets the shot. It's similar to this. Jump for the ball, man. What the fuck you doing?
Adnan said Tonali shouldn't play for Howard. That's a crime. Bruno G does nothing and Joe Linton is always high. What's he smoking?
He's definitely high on something, that's for sure, isn't he?
Big Geek said it's the mismanagement by the manager that led to the loss. You know what? Draw, you mean? That led to the draw. Are you talking about?
He's not continental level, man.
Yeah.
Well, not Champions League level anyway.
Teresia said, I'm beginning to see Rams as a liability. He should have started the goal. He should have saved that goal.
Someone should play the Undertaker music.
Big
Woo!
up.
Like a puff of smoke, he appears.
Big up,
Yeah.
Big Gitch. You good? You
Well,
good?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I'm not happy, but you know what I mean? But I'm
Okay,
okay.
okay. We'll get to you. Should we some more? Smash the like there, people. By the way, keep the likes and comments coming. They're much appreciated. Foxy said Ramsdale terrified of corners, starts to come, and then sticks to his line every time, covering my eyes with every corner. Agreed. Yeah, he's not commanding at all. And for all that he brings with the passing and the way we play out from the back, he's not commanding enough. Where Pope is a bit more commanding, but Yusuf with his feet. You know what I mean? But Ramsdale made a couple good saves as well today. But yeah, I get what you mean. Like he does strike fear in me every time a corner comes in. He said, "Man doesn't match Flecker. Without that mistake, I think we lose." Lomina said, "Our star players are going to clock out mentally if our owners are going to let this coach keep playing haram football. How are we with the ball?" My God, it's
Oh,
sure Daesh coaching us.
Oh my days. Where's the
Oh
Docker
man.
Roy at? Where's the Docker Roy at? Oh man.
But this is what we were saying, DB. They cut through our midfielders. We're obsessed with man-to-man marking with tired players. And why?
That's multiverse. That's multiverse D man, by the way.
Big up Podmans in the building as well.
Big up.
Hope you're good. Hope you're good. Daniel said, second half we were class. Should have scored 4. Second half hit the post twice. Our defending when matters too deep and weak. Yes, it's the defending that's the problem. We can't see out games, and that has to be addressed. You know what I mean? That's what 3 games. If you count the Burnley game where we got lucky as well, that's 3 games on the spin where we cannot see out games. We go to sleep. I don't understand what's happening. J7 been trash all season. How is forced to make the move and we instantly improve? But listen,
Highest earners as well.
Big up Wazza in the building. Give the dog a bone.
He's talking about when I was doing that.
TC said, Jefferson, come on, man. It's time to get this clown out of our club. I'm sorry, Eddie Howe couldn't manage a paper round.
Eddie out.
But listen, before we get to big Yinks up thoughts on the whole game, let's wrap it up because obviously we go 2-1 up. With I think what minute was that? Was that like 80th minute or 81st minute? I can't remember. 74th minute, yeah. And they start to put in a bit of pressure. We're sitting deep. We're inviting them on, and then they get a well worked goal. Right? I think it's Grimaldo, was it, that scored the second goal? Well worked goal, but again carving us open. Tonali gets fed the dummy, yeah.
Oh.
And then the guy just feeds it through, and then the guy Grimaldo just smashes it past Ramsdale. So, Yinks, what was your thoughts on that second goal?
To me, I think one of the biggest issues that it was obvious that we probably needed more legs in the midfield, and we needed people to shore it up essentially because they were pushing us so deep. However, we were accepting it, and our clearances was never the best. Livramento was making mistakes in those particular areas. Who else? There's no one that I can remember, but it was obvious that they were going to score. We could see it. We could see it coming. And what was annoying me was just that again, there's more than enough players on the bench to reassure that midfield, and even take off Walter Marda, which again it brings someone like Wissa who can actually just run around and put pressure on the ball. But Eddie Howe's Eddie Howe.
Why is it, do you think he took so long to make changes? Like he did it in the 92nd minute. Yeah. He brought Ramsey and Visser on for Voltamada and Gordon. Right? Now, why are you going to give them a minute and a half? It makes no sense. If you're going to bring them on earlier. And like I said, bring on maybe another midfielder to shore up a little bit, another defender, or do something. But he just sat there and waited, and then they scored, and then he waited and waited again. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Jefferson, can you make any sense of it?
No, but we've seen time and time again at this level when under pressure, he's been out of his depth, unfortunately.
Well, listen, Big Yinks, what did you make of the second half performance in a whole?
I thought it was okay. We were good in moments. Gordon actually started playing decent in the second half. I think the Miley change was phenomenal. That was necessary, and that's what annoys me about Eddie Howe. I can't give him the plaudits for that in any way, shape, or form. That was due to J7 getting injured, quote unquote. So essentially, we all saw the issue. We could diagnose the issue, but he was unable to see it. and he was forced into actually making that change because even when we scored, we weren't the better team. We weren't ascending at all. So again, well done to Walter Mada. Was able to close down the keeper and force the penalty, but it was Miley that actually came and changed the game and shored up a plethora of things in and amongst the midfield, especially because with Joe Linton, it seems as if he's more of a negative than a positive, personally.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously in the game, obviously Murphy's come on. He's hit the post as well with a
I
well
thought Murphy
struck
was a
shot.
decent sub. I thought
Yeah,
Murphy made sense.
yeah,
Barnes should not be playing on the right. Point blank.
exactly.
Point blank.
Yeah.
Like you can't. It seems like we're building our team around around Gordon right now. That's what it looks like.
Listen,
Someone made a good point actually that when Gordon's there, he doesn't actually provide
no, you
for
don't.
Voltemada.
He
So
doesn't.
Voltemada loses out as well. So
Yeah.
it feels like for the expense of one player, 2 out of the 3 frontline, lose out.
Do
Eddie's
you,
got to pick up on that.
do you think that Eddie Howe was like, because I've got this thing about Gordon. I think he's got this belief that he's the main man for our team. Yeah.
The
And
penalties.
do you think that Eddie Howe's kind of fed that into him, saying, "Listen, you're our guy. We need you to lead this team on." Do you think? Because for me, it's Tonali, it's Voltemada, it's Bruno. Yeah, them kind of players. But to me, it seems like he's been given this kind of like, let's say, responsibility, but they've boosted him up, saying, "Listen, you're that guy. You're the difference maker." Because there seems to be an air of arrogance about him. I'm not saying it's wrong, but there's something I'm just picking up on him. What do you reckon? Is anything in that?
I've said it all along that some people call him the love child, some people call it his project. But for me, I've always seen from since maybe last season to a degree, that Eddie Howe has a preference towards Gordon, maybe because there's something that he sees in him that we don't see in any way, shape, or form. But the problem is, it is affecting the squad because you can see it in Barnes. It's when we played Sunday League football, everyone has the manager's son. Even regardless of how good you play, the manager's son's always going to play. And we're seeing that in 4K with Eddie Howe and Gordon because prior to Gordon, obviously Gordon played decent against Burnley, but it did not justify his start on the left over Barnes at all. But now Gordon can start. Now Gordon can justify starting over Barnes, even though he hasn't played as good as Barnes for the whole season. All he's got to say is, "I got 7 goals."
Yeah,
Yeah, and you scratch me like he scored 5 penalties and got
And
2
what's he
tackles.
doing? What's he doing? Big
Yeah,
Yanks, what's he doing?
stat padding, stat padding,
That
stat padding.
padding.
Do you know? But the thing is, have you watched like basketball? Do you know Russell Westbrook back in the day?
yeah,
He would get all the stats but win nothing.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's
that's
like
what.
D-Man's friend Messi, Ibar man and all that.
Oh, Ballon d'Or guy, yeah. Okay, Mac could never be talking about stat padding when he supports Cristiano Ronaldo, bro. Are you mad? Are you mad?
But that.
We'll
But
save that one for the summer.
Yeah,
But the
please.
thing is, though,
He
like
might
that,
actually do
it's
something.
going to it's gonna mess up it's gonna affect the balance of the team. In honesty, when you're seeing that, okay, cool, Gordon's not been playing well, but that left position is only for him. You know what I mean? It will affect Barnes.
Comment from Pontbank. He said, "Giving pens to Gordon is short-sighted. It's undermining our centre forward, who is more important than Anthony Gordon."
Thank
I
you.
agree. I agree. Like, don't get me wrong, Gordon, he's taken the penalties, he hasn't missed, but Voldemort, what team do you know where the striker isn't the main penalty taker? You know what I mean? Like, you think Haaland's giving penalties to Bernardo Silva or Doku? You know what I mean? It makes no
Yeah.
sense. It makes no sense. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Adnan said, Gordon does nothing for Voldemort and Joe Linton does nothing in midfield and Burns gets bullied at the back. Yeah, Burns was annoying me today. He was annoying to me. What do you think about this though? Tony said Big Nick's been off it recently. What do you reckon? Do you think his performances have been underwhelming, or is it a case of we're not playing to his strengths? Or
He's had no service.
And he's knackered as well, man. All this running, pressing from the front. Just tell the man to stay in the box. He's 6'7" or whatever it is.
For the amount of possession that is converted into crosses in our team, when we fight, if we were to actually if we break it down, it will be disgraceful. Because essentially, especially when the ball's out wide quite a lot from watching Newcastle, barely is it crossed to him. Barely does he get the ball to his feet. We can't blame him for not scoring goals. Even Haaland won't score goals in our team because he's getting no service in any way, shape, or form. If the ball's coming through in multiple different, like let's say, I don't know, like onto his chest or to his knees or this, that, the third, then okay, cool. He takes bad touches or he makes mistakes, cool. But he has to do everything himself to a degree. A lot of the goals he scored are due to him doing or outside his headers. It's just him
Yeah,
making
yeah.
something like that.
Big
Kim
up.
has made a great point because we've said it many times. Eddie is almost like a Southgate light, and this situation with Gordon reminds me very much of putting Foden in the team by any means necessary, whether he's out of form, whether it upsets the rhythm. And then Kante, by the way, big up Kante, makes a great point about
Look what's around him.
what's around him, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the striker. The team should be servicing the striker. We saw how fully efficient we can be when we were able to serve he who shall not be named. Do you know what I mean?
Keep smashing the likes, people. We need to get the like count up, so keep smashing it. Keep smashing
Yes,
it.
Mighty Mag, long time. Where have you been, mate?
Big up, Mighty Mag. Read somebody. Big up, Jono. He said, lads, Eddie Howe really does it to himself with 92-minute subs. What the fuck? He said, we really lacked a proper six tonight. Huge holes in our midfield. And that's something that needs to be addressed. But Eddie Howe doesn't like a number six. He likes to rotate a fluid midfield, as he calls it. But point back to Gordon will be out our club as soon as he can. So why are we accommodating this bum? That's it. Some say he's playing for a move. You know what I mean? Adnan said, and Barnes can't play on the right. Gordon will do nothing. Voltamada is deprived, and Barnes can't do nothing. How must see this in training? What a nutter! Yeah, it's a strange one. It's a strange one.
It's hard to defend. It is hard to defend him, man. But the problem is, why aren't people criticizing it? It feels like it's just us lot on this channel criticizing.
Yeah. But maybe
people criticizing. What's his name? Who's the big Geordie fellow, man?
Oh, True Geordie.
True Geordie, yeah. He's the only one I've seen that's come out like saying it as it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Big up Connie said Burn was shocking. Well, let's talk about some of these performances, right? Because the back line, who do you think was probably the best player in our back line today?
Chow is normal. Chow by far.
Chow.
Yeah.
Again.
Chow by far as usual.
And even he had that moment of madness when he brought down the man, whatever. But other than that, And then obviously at the other end, he almost scored with the header and the little volley that he did as well. So he could consider himself unlucky. Now this is the hard one. Midfield. Who was the best in that midfield? Because they were all trash.
Bruno by default. Bruno by default.
Yeah. And attack? Attack.
They have to go to Gordon.
It has to be Gordon.
Yeah, he's hit the post, and I'm not gonna. I have to give him his kudos. Kudos, but
hit the post, got the assist as well. So he turned up in that second half. He did. Voltamada won the penalty, but other than that, I mean, he had a shot. I think he had a shot. Deflected, But 80 said Miley's a starting 11 player. Sorry, Miley was the best midfielder. Sorry, of course he was.
Best midfielder, Miley was the best midfielder. Sorry,
He said Miley's a starting 11 player. Joe Linton has lost his place, in my opinion. Agreed.
But Joe Linton lost his place like 10 games ago. So why is he still starting?
Exactly. Hold on, big up Kenny. Kenny said, "Did we lose?" No, we. And this is what we got to talk about this, right?
Because such is the standards.
Yeah, but hold on.
Standards.
We didn't lose, and a few people thought we would lose today, and we got a point. So it's not the worst result, but it's the nature of how the game went, which is disappointing. Going 2-1 up with such little time left, you're always going to be disappointed when you drop points, and we've done it again, right? So let's talk about it though, because we're in 12th place. I'm not sure what the difference is between 12th and I don't know if anyone can bring up the 12th between 12th and 8th. Yeah, because that's what we should be aiming for, the top 8. How do you rate our chances, Yinks, of making the top 8, given our next 2 games? Home to PSV. 2 points. Home to PSV and away to
2 games to go.
And away to PSG.
PSG's, I think the problem with our fan base is that they'll accept the loss to PSG and be like, it's PSG. So I don't know. I think we're just gonna be here. Just to focus on getting the playoff. If we get top 8, lucky us. If not, then on to the next one. But let's focus on getting the playoffs. There's no point. I don't believe Eddie Howe actually has the heart to be a winner. And that's my problem. It doesn't go out to win every game in any way, shape, or form. There's some games he's willing to lose. There's some games willing to take a draw. And for me, I have to, based upon what I'm seeing at this moment of time, I would say that we could get a win against PSV, but I don't think that's enough to finish top 8.
Okay.
PSG's a write-off.
Kenny said just win at home and job done. Are you saying, Kenny, are you saying for top 8 or are you saying for, top 16? Because I do believe we're going to make top 24, but top 16 gives you, between 8th and 16th, gives you the home advantage in the playoff. So are you saying that's enough for top 16 or just to get through to the playoff? Let us know. Jefferson, what's your thoughts on it? 2 games left, PSV at home, PSG away.
I mean, it's not a given. I know we've proven that we can rise to the occasion, but we saw what PSV did to Liverpool. They picked them off and hit them on the counter. And what has been a majority of our weaknesses, particularly over last season, was getting hit on the counter. So, we've flattered to deceive before. So it's not a given. And also a point potentially isn't good enough. Like, we legit need a win. Everyone forget the PSG game because that ain't happening. So ultimately, the PSV game brings us full circle to AC Milan of 2 years ago. We need to win that game, and Eddie needs to marshal us through it.
And that's the thing. Big up Carnell. He said, "Bro, this manager is making me sick."
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
we're
it's
all done
disgusting
out here,
behaviour.
man.
But Carnell, who would just out of curiosity, who would be your choice for a new manager if Hal was to go? Just let us know. But Jefferson, you're right. This PSV game is giving that Milan at home vibes, where the pressure is on because make no bones about it. We have to win that game.
Yeah,
We have to win that game, right? And when the pressure is on, do we trust this manager to deliver? And it starts with the team selection as well. So it's going to be interesting because I don't know who we've got after that in the league, but it's on a knife edge. Yeah, it's on a knife edge, and I think we screwed ourselves in Marseille. That's when we screwed ourselves by dropping, not even getting a point there. We screwed ourselves. So we've got a point today, but we have to get the win against PSV. And like you said, they picked off Liverpool. I know Liverpool weren't in the greatest of form, whatever, but
We've got
PSV can still be.
Wolves away before, so the league is the bread and butter. But I would actually make changes in that game,
Right.
Because I still think we'll have enough to beat Wolves and then go into that Newcastle PSV game at home strong. But the 3 games after that are a killer because you got Villa, PSG, and then Liverpool.
Oh, yeah, that's a sticky one.
And then that brings you right up to the end of the window, that Liverpool game as well. So,
Right. Okay. So now it becomes a must win.
yeah. But I want to ask a quick question. Like with Leverkusen, personally, like should Leverkusen, based upon the context of our season, the amount of money that we spent in the summer, shouldn't Leverkusen be a team, even at their ground, that we make a better account for ourselves? Because if we have to look at the whole performance to a degree, we played poor in the first half, we played better in the second half. But are we a team that's had 250 million invested into it?
I hear you, but what I would say is 2 things. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but this Leverkusen didn't they beat Man City? I think they beat
Yes.
they beat Man City, and I think they've had another good result as well, right? Now, and also when the draw was made, I don't think many people thought we would actually go to Leverkusen and win that game. I thought most people could get a point. You know what I mean? So in that respect, I don't think we can rock up there and because they've got more European experience than us anyway. Yeah, of late. Yeah, so I don't think we can go into there thinking we should be expecting 3 points. But I believe if we had played to given the way the game went, if we played to our potential, we could have got the win. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also going 2-1 up, we should have got the win. You know what I mean? Because in the fact that I believe we were better in the second half,
Yeah.
we should have seen out the game. Now, that's the frustrating thing for me. Yeah, no matter what I thought at the beginning of the game, the fact is we went 2-1 up. Yeah, with 15 minutes to go, and it's like we still knew we were going to concede because we can't see out games. It hasn't been addressed.
But
And
just
yeah,
to ask, this is my problem with Eddie Howe. He gets outmanaged all the bloody time. Essentially, Leverkusen made the right decisions in order to get their equaliser. What did Eddie Howe do to counter that? What did Eddie Howe do to foresee that there's an equaliser coming? What can I do to shore up the team?
Yeah,
Nothing.
this is what annoyed me because I'm thinking surely you're gonna make some subs. Surely you're gonna make some subs or change the formation or do something. But he actually it's the same old thing. And you've run these players into the ground now. Then we have to go to Sunderland on Sunday.
Exactly.
Yeah. It like Gordon and Voldemort are going to be knackered. Hall is going
Exactly.
to be knackered. Tino's going to be they're all going to be knackered. But you tell me what change. Well, we'll get to that anyway. But I don't think you're going to make too many changes to this team. To be fair, which is going to annoy me. But
But what
yeah,
we keep hearing is Eddie has to learn. But he was doing this 2 years ago, so he ain't learned shit.
yeah. Let me read some more of these comments. Brant said Gordon 100% believes he's the man. And then Carnell said he's obsessed. He's obsessed with Gordon. The fact that he takes penalties tells you all you need to know. This is it. Eddie Howe and his favourites. And then Point said if Eddie Howe hadn't spent the last few years mooning over Trafford, we could have had a solid long-term quality goalkeeper in place by now instead of the roster of freaks in the goalkeeping department, which is treated.
What are you talking
Which is
about from
crazy.
Max? John Ruddy, mate. John Ruddy.
It's crazy. You got that foot. Well, you had two keepers on the bench today, right?
Huh?
He had two keepers on the bench today, right?
Did he?
I don't know. I'm asking.
No, I think yeah, they got Thompson on the bench. I didn't see it. I don't know if there was
Okay.
another one on. I'm
Okay.
not sure if there was another one on. John said, lads, you can track everything back to Bunce coming in. Our intensity has never been the same.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you think that's an intention? Do you think it's a case of because they've recognised the fact that we can't go 100 miles an hour all the time?
Yeah.
The injuries, cause the injuries, and the more games we've got,
Remember,
do you
we
think?
had the worst injuries that had ever been recorded in senior men's football, wasn't it? 1,450 something hours missed
Yeah.
from play. Do you know what I mean?
Ronnie said Tonali is the most overrated player ever at the club. He's literally garbage, and everyone has convinced themselves he's Rodri. Ooh, the most overrated player at the club. That's an
People are not happy.
interested opinion. Interested opinion. Ronnie, out of curiosity, who's our top three players in the club currently at the moment, in your opinion? Let us know. We're big Tonali fans here, but we do appreciate he's been off it. Today was a very off day for him. Adnan said Tonali will click at any other club. Interesting. And Kenny said thought Visser was the 9, not Voltemada. Well, in Visser's absence, Voltemada has been the 9. You know what I mean? So he should be on penalties. Yeah, he's the centre forward. He's more of a forward than Anthony Gordon is. You know what I mean? So, and he's shown he can take penalties. So I don't understand why. But listen, Gordon scored the penalty, so you can't really complain. You know what I mean? And like Ronnie said, what the hell's happening with these late goals we concede? Where is the instruction to sit back coming from? They can't do it. And that's interesting because I don't think do you think it's more the manager telling him to sit back, or do you think it's just a natural reaction once you concede? You're trying to keep hold of what you've got. What do you reckon, Jefferson?
I think it's more of a mentality thing. I think we really struggle to see games out. The panic sets in, and then that brings mistakes, lack of concentration, that kind of thing. Because not to give Eddie too much credit, but he did try before to put 5 at the back. I can't remember which game it was. He put Share on. Was it against Spurs?
Yeah, Tottenham, yeah.
Yeah, and we conceded. I mean, listen, we might have conceded anyway, but Share coming on wasn't the right decision. Like, it messed us up. So maybe he wanted to avoid repeating that. I don't know.
Karna said, how many more points do we need to drop in the last 10 minutes before Howe's job is under pressure?
His job will be under pressure right now.
Jinx, do you think Eddie Howe is under pressure?
No, he ain't under pressure for shit. That brother's cooling. He's cooling right now.
Collecting honorary doctorates.
Yeah, he's cooling right now. I don't see him under pressure in any way, shape, or form. He's not managing like a man that's under pressure, if we have to be honest. You know what I mean? Slot was sweating. That bald head was sweating. He was changing everything. Took off Salah, did that, the third. He knew for a fact Lonzo's coming for his job. But Howe's not acting as if he's never did. He spent 250 million, for goodness sake. And there's no justification or accountability being held to him on the amount of money that he spent. They don't hold him account to it at all. It's literally as if he just spent, like, I brought in Alanga, I brought in Ramsey. Like, the guy fought and spent money on these particular players, and he can't even incorporate them into our squad at the moment. So, like, it's crazy. Even today, like, when I saw Barnes and Gordon playing, I was optimistic, but we've already seen it not work. but I was open. Okay, it may work. And when I saw that Gordon actually was the one that got onto the left, I was like, yeah, this man doesn't want to learn in any way, shape, or form. He knows what he wants. He knows who he wants to help. And my only issue is that if everyone in the club starts to see this, it's going to destroy morale. And look at Ramsey. Like, when Ramsey comes on the pitch, for me, you can tell that he's looking like he's shy.
Yeah.
Alanga is fearful. He doesn't want to make a mistake, but because he's thinking too much, he makes the mistake. Who
Mm.
else is? Who else is? Maybe I don't know about Botman. Botman seems like he's just, yeah, I'm just gonna do my thing and keep it moving. But in terms of the new signings, they feel the pressure because
You know, it's strange because you see the winger thing. You see with Alanga, yeah. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't been great, but he starts to get a little better, right?
yeah,
But Eddie Howe changes his wingers every single game. Yeah, how's the player supposed to get some momentum if you're going to change it? And the same with Gordon, Barnes, Murphy, Alanga, all of them. It's a different pair in every single game. There's no continuity. So it's like, how are you supposed to get into a rhythm, to get into form, if you're going to be chopping and changing? Yes, I know you've got to utilize the squad. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but how are you going to get players in a rhythm, especially attacking players? Yeah, it's only Voltamada that's been getting the game because there's no
yeah.
option until Wizard's been unavailable and
Mm.
stuff. But
And Gordon, no, Gordon's been getting the game time. Let's not. Gordon's
no,
been
no,
getting the
Gordon,
game
yeah, yeah,
time as
Gordon
well.
has. To be fair, Gordon has,
Yeah,
yeah, because he's one of his favourites. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But everyone
yeah.
else is like, you'll play one game, even if you score, you bench the next one. If you get an assist, you bench the next one. It makes no sense, bro. It makes no sense. Um, Kante said, "Demon, I'll be real. There's more chance of Jefferson growing hair than Newcastle getting top 8
This
in
guy takes the piss, man. You're barred. You are barred.
Still bad, Dad said. I think we get 4 points from those two games. Interesting. You reckon we're going to get a draw? How did PSG do today? Because it was 0-0 going into the last couple minutes. I don't know if they drew 0-0 or they won. I'm not
But you know
sure.
how we're gonna play against PSG? It's gonna be boss stop football, 10 men, and then you probably have Elanga just on a counter.
Yeah, probably. Um, John said Miley can be frustrating as well. Put him in Sunday and he's capable of a stinker. Hopefully, this is his coming of age game.
I don't believe that. Miley has been good for very. The only stinker he had was Bournemouth, and he didn't play a lot of games until he came back against. Was it? I don't want to say Everton, but he's been playing quite well ever since that Bournemouth game.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
going back to PSG, obviously Vitinha at the moment is probably one
The
of
best midfielder in the
the
league.
best midfielders in the world. And one thing I've seen is we can bully some players, that aren't physically bringing it as much as ours. But I do worry about him and João Neves like running rings. And even, because Fabian Silva is very intelligent with the ball as well. I am really, really worried because they're going to just play through the press, aren't they?
Barca already done it
I
to
can
us.
see it now.
Yeah.
Barca already done that to us.
Um,
You're going to run
listen,
rings.
I see Team Caesar said we need 3 points to we need to have to win both games to get top 8. We need 3 points to go through. So we will go through. I think we'll beat PSV. I think we'll beat PSV. I think that's enough to go through. Big up Liam in the building. He said fine margins. Could have, should have finished them. Gordon gaining momentum, frustrating but not worth head loss. Yeah, listen, like I said, a point is not a bad result. It's the disappointing of the circumstances to get that point. Going 2-1 up late, How's not making the changes. I think it was avoidable. I think we could have got the 3 points. That's the disappointing thing. But like you said, you're right. It's not the end of the world. It's a point away from home. We're still in a fighting chance. Of even top 8. So it is what it is. But look,
I think we've been very realistic with it though, because the first half performance was an
Thank you.
absolute shambles.
Thank you.
You have to give balance where it is. And I
Yeah.
think, we spoke up to the fact that there was a significant improvement in the second half. We crafted some good chances, but, we're getting into halfway point of the season and the football's been dire. So how long can this continue for? It's not about head loss. This is being like realistic here. It's not about ignoring things and just tucking it underneath your beds. Like, we need to deal with this stuff head on.
Yeah, I'd also add that, like, the only game that I felt that we played great was against Everton, and I believe Moyes did a poor job in actually the management of his own team. I think he went head to head against Newcastle because they were at home, and they played into our hands because that's our strength. Against Sunderland, I don't know if Sunderland are going to go like head to head against us. I won't be surprised if they put the low block and we're doing the half circle football around their attack, and they'll hit us on the press. And till this day, for the past 3 years, Eddie Howe still doesn't know how to break it.
Yeah, true. Foxy said, I expected Leverkusen to beat us tonight, to be honest. They have been European pedigree. They have European pedigree, making Champions League and Europa League finals, and away from hello, I'm content with the point. And that's the reason we're looking at.
Someone made a point. Was it team season?
Yeah.
I think that they've gone through a change of manager and they've lost probably 4 or 5 of their best players.
Well, King Cam just said it. Yeah, they're in Champions
League. Let's be real. Again, it's a diluted team, and I think we have been fortunate in the fixtures, in terms of who we've had.
Oh no, Kenny said, geez, man, did you see Voltemata's last pen? You want him to take more? Listen, the penalty that he scored for us, was a quality penalty, one of the best you'll ever see at St. James's Park, my friend. So it's just like, boy. But again, like I said, Gordon hasn't missed. He hasn't missed yet since he's gone back on pens, whatever. So, until then, he is the designated penalty taker, whether we agree with it or not. But listen, we've got the big one at the weekend, away to Sunderland, which is a must-win game. Yeah, we cannot afford to drop points there, right? Jinx, how do you think we set up there?
I think I hope Eddie Howe has a game plan. Personally, I don't. I hope he does, because I would say, I think he needs to be negative. I think we need to hit them on a break. We need to shore up the midfield, and we got to let them play against us rather than us trying to actually play football against them. Like, again, for me, I think for us to win, I don't know, because I think he'll go for a draw like Leeds and Bournemouth. You know what I mean? I don't. It depends. If the players are up for it, we'll win. If I don't know, it's hard. It's hard because Sunderland, they have the grit. We can see their position in the Premiership at this moment of time. They've beaten Arsenal. They drew with Arsenal. They beat Chelsea. I think they also, who else they did a big win against?
They drew Liverpool.
They drew with Liverpool. So they know for a fact they can go head to head with any team in the Premiership. They're good enough. The players that should have gone to the African nations are not going. So they're also playing as well. And I don't believe we have our team have lost their personality. If you look at the games that we played recently, we don't have any personality. Sunderland have it all. Unless I don't know what player I can focus on, but unless we're up for it, I don't think we'll win the game. I think we might be lucky to even draw it. Like, even though we're the better team, quote unquote, I don't think we have the heart.
Jeff, so what's your thoughts?
I think we're finished, man. I think the players look uninspired. We're relying on individual brilliance to kind of get some kind of grasp of a game, whether it's Bruno turning up the heat, Gordon having the odd flash of brilliance, Miley coming to the rescue. It's not really like a culmination of a team effort or passages of play. It's a bit Brucey in certain ways, because like I said, we're not playing good football. We're not unlocking teams. It's very predictable. The players seem very uninspired. And the reason I go about this is the standards that we expect now. People have to understand that in the last 3 seasons, we've finished 4th, 7th, and 5th. So that's an average of what? 5.5, 6? That makes us a top 6 team. So that means we're expecting the same standards with no excuses, particularly where we spent 250 million this summer, as Big Yinks has highlighted. So it's not about giving the team a bly. We need to keep kind of holding them to account, So in terms of this derby, the fact they've kept their AFCON players means they got their tails up and they're confident with their strongest team, they can beat us. I think their manager is a bit of a tactical unknown. And I think Eddie does struggle against certain managers, particularly if he's not familiar with them. We don't know what the weather conditions is going to be like. Obviously, it's always difficult away from home. We don't have the best, away record. But I think I would go for either narrow defeat, i.e. 2-1, or a 1-1 draw.
Okay, Mighty Mag, to answer your question, yep, they kept their AFCON players. So they'll be pretty much at full strength.
And
AC,
also, we played our first team for the whole game today as well.
this is what I'm saying, bruv. This is what I'm saying. They're gonna be knackered. AC says Thunder will cook us. Let's be honest. Um, Adnan, how maybe said Visser was running on grass that was not too green for Visser this week. um, Liam said we need to play calm on Sunday, leave Cumberland to allow the passion of the occasion get to them, let them. So, which is interesting. Like I said, we have to play the game, not the occasion.
But D man, if we go 1-0 up and it's the 88th minute,
We're
what's the
conceding.
lack? Yeah,
We're conceding. We're conceding
exactly.
straight. We're conceding. We need to be 2-0 up with 85 minutes gone so we can win the game 2-1. Yeah, because I'm telling you, if it's that close, bro. If we're 1-0 up come 75 minutes, we lose that game 2-1. I'm telling you, we lose that game 2-1. Yeah,
It's crazy.
and this is the thing. He's gonna want to play his full strength team, right? Or what he considers his full strength team. Yeah. So unless Pope is back by some kind of minor miracle, yeah. Don't get me wrong, if Pope's fit, he's playing. Yeah. But anyway, so it'll probably be Ramsdale. He'll play Hall, Byrne, Chow, Tino. Yeah. He'll play Bruno, Tonali, and Joe Linton if he's fit. Otherwise, he'll bring in Miley. Yeah?
Nah, I don't think he's gonna play Joe Linton. I think the fan base will turn, and we lose, and he plays Joe Linton.
Bruv,
The fan base will turn against
if
him.
Joe Linton is fit, yeah, on a big occasion like that, where he feels you need that physicality, he's gonna play Joe Linton, bro.
We better
Yeah?
lose, boy.
And then up front, Voltamada's gonna start, Anthony Gordon's gonna start. The right, and I'll put Jacob Murphy.
Jacob Murphy, yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee you,
It's predictable, isn't it?
that's the lineup. The only
That's
thing
the
you said,
lineup.
if Joe Linton doesn't play, it's gonna be Miley. Yeah, that's the only thing. I don't think it might be Willock. It might be Willock. Yeah, but 10 of those players, you know, who are gonna play that game, bro. Yeah, and you know how we're going to play the same old predictable way.
Are you fed up, D-man?
Bro,
Are you fed up?
I am
done.
Bruv, I'm fed up with the style of play, bruv. I'm resigned to the fact Eddie Howe's going to be all season. Yeah, he's not going. Yeah, so it's never a case of he's going to be all season. Yeah, but it's the thing that annoyed me today. Yeah, was the lack of substitutions when we're 2-1 up. Yeah, that's what really got me. Yeah, and also knowing that I know what lineup he's going to play against Sunderland. Yeah, and I also know that we can't see out games. Yeah, this is what pisses me off.
We can't see out games. We're the team that can't see out games. This
is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So imagine if he dares play Sharon Byrne instead of Malik Chow. Give Malik Chow, right? Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Yeah.
No Eddie Howe. It's boy, him and his favourites.
Yeah, Mikey P. I'm with you, bro. I'm bored as well, mate.
Keep smashing the likes, people. We're going to be here for a few more minutes, but keep smashing likes. Get the like count up as well. Still bad. That said, the scum will play at 100 miles an hour. We have to play at 110 miles an hour, or we fold. It's as simple as that. They will play a lot of through balls in the final third. That's something we can't seem to do. Through balls.
Very well.
But the reason why we can't, the problem
because Visser's not there.
But with Walter you can't really play with through balls because he plays to feet. So
that's why you need Visser, but Visser's not fit. You know what I mean?
The wingers ain't making no inside runs.
That's the problem. I genuinely believe our wingers, both, and I think all wingers, I think actually all of them, they anticipate the ball. I think if you just switch the ball to them, I think they're not the greatest at actually running onto it. Personally, I think they anticipate and they're fearful. They want the ball passed through because I don't. Even the midfielders don't even like try to dink it over. I genuinely feel they're not comfortable unless the ball's to feet.
I just had a thought with Visser, right? Because we know he's not going to start the weekend, right? But correct if I'm wrong, but when he was recovering, didn't Eddie Howe say that he's not going to bring him back unless he can play a considerable amount of minutes from the start? He's given him he's given a minute and a half this. He gave me 15 minutes of the weekend, then a minute and a half today. Like, what's he on about? To me, I thought he's bringing back, so he's good to play 60 minutes or 45 minutes from the beginning. But it's not happening. So again, he's lied. But I've said he will start the Fulham game. He will start the Fulham game. He's not going to start.
Yeah, the cup game.
Yeah, you'll start that. And that's when you'll see, because like I said, when we played Man City, I could see there was times when we wanted to play the through ball and it wasn't working. It wasn't working. So I don't know. But let me read through some of these comments before we sort off. 80 said, I hate to say it, but there's loads of evidence this season. Sunderland are not a pushovers and are known for coming from behind and winning games. And they've got the crowd behind them as well. Adnan said Sunderland will be too much for our lazy players. Lazy or knackered? Lazy or knackered? Tony said, we've always spent on average players 150 million and 70 million worth of talent for scouting. So Connor said House favourites Pope, Burn, Bruno, and Gordon. And like I said, if Pope was fit, he'd be playing. 100% he'd be playing. You know what I mean? But
oh, you're on mute, Yinks.
Yeah, can't hear you, Yinks.
Can't hear you, brother.
Jono said, surely playing Vissa for 2 minutes could have risked injury. He would have to do a detailed warm down after that. What was Eddie Howe thinking? Interesting. Like I said, there was no point in playing the 2 minutes.
Why? Imagine if he got tackled or he twisted his ankle or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just really poor game management.
Mighty Mac said, Demon, I think I will have a Jaeger bomb to help me sleep.
Not a bad idea.
Brant said, I just don't see the possibility of beating the Mackhams this weekend. I don't see it. Interesting. And then Adnan said, Sunderland will target Burn and bully him. And then Fox said, only 2 players started for Sunderland last weekend who were AFCON ones. So it's not like they have 11 starters to go AFCON.
Oh, okay.
So
that's interesting. Yinks, can you hear us?
Yeah,
you're back.
Yeah. Mighty Mac said, I want to see Vissa and Voltamada starting.
That'd be great.
I think Eddie Howe made a few comments today before the game saying that there are going to be times where one replaces the other or they play together. So, you know, interesting. We'll see. You'll see if he backs his chat. Stephen is very confident. He said we'll beat the filth, no worries. I like it.
Great.
Stephen, give us a scoreline then. And those in the chat, give us a scoreline as well. Big Inks, what's your predicted scoreline?
I'm always going to be optimistic when it comes to Newcastle, so I'll be like 2-0 to Newcastle. Yeah, I mean, if we get an early goal, then that could put a lot of pressure on them, but it's just how we finish. That's the main thing.
Okay. Foxy said Sunderland will be targeting Ramsdale from set pieces all game if he starts.
That's a shout.
What's that guy's name? Ballard? Is that his name? Ballard?
Dan Ballard, yeah.
He will be all over.
Isidore, I think, is a bit of a threat, isn't he? He's popped up with a few. And obviously, Granit Xhaka, that's going to be an interesting one if Joe Linton starts or Bruno. I think Bruno's got history with Xhaka a little bit as well, isn't he?
Yeah, everyone's waiting for that ticking time one, but I don't want to see it because I don't want to see Joe Linton on the pitch. But anyway, Tony said, question, who would you have replaced in today's starting lineup?
Joe Linton.
Quick question. How many goals has Chow and Dan Burn conceded as a centre-back pairing? Has it been a lot?
Yeah, two today.
One against Burnley.
One against Everton, right?
Burnley, Dan Burn was left back, wasn't he?
Okay, Dan Burn.
Yeah, Tottenham, 2 against Tottenham, 1 against Everton. That's 5.
That's 5 and 3.
Yeah.
Him and Botman, I don't know. Were they more solid?
When Botman was playing centre-back, people were cussing Botman saying, is his fault for this, his fault for that?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But let's get to Taro 5-1. Kante said 5-1 to Sunderland. Behave yourself, bro. How will be sacked if that happened? Liam says 2-2. Mighty Man.
Draw's definitely a possibility.
We're gonna win 3-2. Interesting. Tony said
you know what though? We've seen this happen before. Our backs are up against the wall after a result like this, and we come out of a great result because of the inconsistency, and everyone was like, "Hey, what was you worried about? You know, you bedwetters, blah blah blah." Do you know what I mean? And then the cycle starts again because we'll probably be shit for another 2 games.
Today's not a bad result. Let's be honest. Today is not a bad result.
It's a disappointing result.
It's the way it finished. But a point away from home to Leverkusen is not a bad result. But it's the manner of which we've got that point. It's disappointing. Silbad said, Derby said anything can happen. I would like to go to score Sunderland 1, Newcastle 2. That's if they're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, that's fair.
Stephen said 3-1 to us. We have too much quality.
We hope it tells. We hope it tells.
Interesting. Jay said our players can't be knackered. Sabozda has played every minute for club and country. Yeah, he's a machine. But yeah, I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go a 2-1 win. I'm gonna be optimistic until I see that lineup. But we'll see. But yeah, listen, we're going to be back on Sunday, obviously, to review that game. So tune in then. But thank you for all those that are in the comments. Smash the likes, keep smashing likes, and we would appreciate a comment once the episode finishes. Helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow. And like I said, we're trying to get to 500 subs before the end of the year. I think we're on something like 466, 467, something like that. So, spread the word, tell your friends, you know what I mean? Big Yinks, thanks for joining
Thanks for having
today.
me, man.
Much appreciated. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And we'll be back on Sunday. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.